skins of metal and breath. What if the future of clothing is not silk, cotton, or leather, but a second skin woven not for beauty, but for survival? Imagine walking across the Martian plains, the horizon bleeding red under a dim sun. Your body is wrapped not in fabric, but in a shell of engineered fibers, each strand a guardian. Oxygen circulates through hidden veins, temperature regulated by invisible threads, radiation shielded by layers thinner than paper yet harder than steel. The very act of dressing has become the act of staying alive. On Earth, clothes have always been more than modesty. They are culture, identity, protection. Ancient hunters stitched furs to endure winters. Sailors wore wool against the biting sea. Priests adorned themselves in colors reserved for gods. Clothing has always been survival first, symbolism second. Yet in alien worlds, the balance will tilt once more. Fashion will return to its primal as in cenotart. But armor, consider radiation. On Earth, our magnetic field shields us. En masse, no such protection exists. A human body walking unprotected across its surface would slowly unravel, cells mutating under the bombardment of cosmic rays. Protective suits must become our second bones. But what if these suits cease to be cumbersome shells and instead evolve into garments indistinguishable from attire? Imagine nanofiber cloaks that shimmer like silk but block radiation like lead. Picture masks sculpted like jewelry, each a delicate lattice of filters, yet capable of transforming toxic carbon dioxide into breath. Survival may yet give birth to beauty. And then think of pressure, the invisible weight of air. On Titan, the atmosphere is thick and crushing. On Europa, the seas hide under kilometers of ice. How would humans dress there? Perhaps suits would resemble diving skins, bodies encased in exoskeletal scaffolds, each joint a compromise between movement and endurance. To wear such a suit would be to carry a world's environment on your shoulders, every step a dialogue between human fragility and alien physics. But survival gear is not only science. It is culture waiting to unfold. On Earth, uniforms divide soldier from civilian, farmer from scholar. On Mars, gear may divide colonists by class. Those with advanced suits breathing easily under storms, those with patched, outdated gear gasping for survival. The suit itself could become a marker of wealth, identity, even rebellion. Imagine Martian youth spray painting their dom suits in defiance, turning necessity into statement. Imagine Titan colonists embroidering their masks with symbols, not for gods, but for methane seas that cradle them. And here lies the paradox. The very gear designed to keep us alive may also distance us from ourselves. Wrapped in layers of machinery, where does human skin and technology begin? Do we risk becoming strangers to our own flesh, trading intimacy with nature for intimacy with circuits? Or is this, too, the natural arc of evolution clothing no longer separate, but fused, becoming part of our biology? Perhaps one day, Earth-born humans will look upon Martians and see not red dust or domes, but the shimmering suits they wear, symbols of survival as fashion, function as identity. Just as ancient Egyptians wrapped linen drowned kings, Martians may wrap themselves in radiation-proof cloaks, treating each layer as ritual, as sacred. And perhaps, in Titan's methane haze, settlers will design suits glowing faintly, turning survival into art beneath orange skies. The truth is simple yet profound. Fashion will never be true. On alien worlds, to dress is to live. Every seam is a promise, every filter a prayer. Protective gear is not a choice, it is destiny stitched into fabric. The question is not whether it will be necessary. The question is how deeply it will weave itself into who we become. The ritual of the suit. Picture the morning ritual of a Martian settlement, not waking to sunlight through curtains, but to the hiss of compressors, the soft hum of air recycling, the ritual donning of protective suits. Each bakul, each seal, each breath tests these other prayers of survival. What coffee is to us, the suit check will be to them. A habit so ordinary, yet so sacred, because a single mistake could mean death. On Earth, dressing is casual. On Mars, dressing will be ceremony. History whispers that this is nothing new. For the Inuit of the Arctic, first stitched with sinew or lifelines, each stitch holding back frostbite and death. For desert nomads, layered robes became shields against burning sun and sand. For sailors, oilskins defied the sea's assault. Clothing has always been ritual, a defense against environments that wanted us gone. Mars, Titan, Europa are no different, only harsher, only stranger. The ritual of the suit is the continuation of humanity's oldest tradition, wrapping ourselves in protection before daring to step outside. Now imagine how this ritual reshapes society. A Martian chilno, not child, but colonists may never step outdoors without first seeing their parents seal a helmet. Lovers may touch visors instead of lips, their breath fogging glass instead of mingling free. Workdays may begin not with greetings, but with inspections of oxygen meters. To us, these acts seem alien. To them, they will be culture. Just as monks once shaved their heads in devotion, Martians may polish helmets until they gleam symbols of devotion to survival. But culture is never static. Rituals mutate. Protective gear may become decorated, customized, personalized. Perhaps colonists paint their helmets with patterns resembling constellations, or stitch emblems into their suits as badges of belonging. Perhaps each colony develops its own style, turning necessity into identity. Over time, these distinctions could become as meaningful as flags, as charged borders. To Earthlings, a suit may look like a suit. To Martians, its markings may tell a story of family, of loyalty, of resistance. And yet, beneath ritual and identity, there lingers the weight of fragility. What does it do to the human psyche to live knowing that your life depends on fabric and seals? Psychologists warn that reliance breeds anxiety. The suit is both savior and reminder that outside it, you cannot survive. Each ritual donning is a confession of weakness. Each removal, a celebration of temporary safety. Over generations, perhaps this ritual will shape new philosophies. Reverence for gear is sacred. Distrust of vulnerability is sin. Still, ritual can also transform fear into resilience. Picture a Martian festival. Colonists gather under the dome, each suit adorned in colors.
We must maintain the highest standards of precision.
They walk in procession, oxygen tubes glowing like veins of neon. What began as survival becomes performance. What began as necessity becomes art. Humanity has always turned its burdens into ritual harvests, into festivals, walls into praise, scars into symbols. The ritual of the suit will be no different. Perhaps, long after Earth is a story told in archives, the descendants of Mars will still honor this ritual. They will wake, they will don their suits, they will seal their helmets, and with each hiss of oxygen, they will remember not Earth, not fragility, but the resilience that kept them alive. For them, to dress will not only be ritual, it will be remembrance.
God, protect me on this journey.
Fashioning identity in the void. What if fashion itself refuses to vanish? Even under alien skies. Imagine walking through a Martian marketplace. Not a bazaar of spices or silks, but rows of stalls where colonists trade helmet visors with tinted gradients, suit panels etched with fractal designs, gloves woven with threads that shimmer like captured orders. Survival demands uniformity, but humanity demands expression. The void may strip away forests,
Look at all these new tactical
skis,
packs.
but it will not strip away the need to adorn, to signal, to belong. On Earth, clothing has always been a language. A crown spoke of kingship, armor of battle, robes of mourning. Every fabric, every cut carried meaning. On Mars, protective gear will become the grammar of this new language. A cracked visor repaired with gold-laced resin might tell of resilience. A chest plate patterned in red dust might honor the landscape itself. Colonists will not simply wear gear. They will tell stories with it. But identity in the void is layered. Consider how differences between colonies will manifest in their fashion. Martians, battling dust storms, might prize suits that gleam smooth, easy to clean. Their helmets painted with mirrored surfaces to reflect the continent. Europa's settlers, dwelling near us, might weave iridescent fibers into their gear, mimicking the shimmer of frozen seas. Titans, cloaked in methane haze, may prefer matte black suits designed to vanish into the gloom, their adornment not in color, but in subtle lights pulsing beneath the surface, like secret heartbeats. Each world sculpts not only bodies, but aesthetics. Yet fashion is never only beauty, it is politics. Imagine a Martian governor wearing a ceremonial suit embroidered with strands of platinum, signaling authority as clearly as a crown once.
New home among
Imagine
the stars.
rebels rejecting Earth's imports, sewing their own suits from locally engineered fibers, symbols of independence stitched into every seam. Clothing becomes decoration. We are not Earthlings in exile. We are Martians, Titans, Europans. The suit you wear becomes your flag. And with fashion comes economy. Black markets may thrive not for oxygen alone, but for luxuries of design. A rare pigment, smuggled from Earth, might be worth more than gold. A visor tinted with sapphire could mark status, its glow unmistakable in a crowd. Even in scarcity, humans will pay for beauty. Especially in scarcity, beauty becomes rebellion. But there is an irony here. The more we layer ourselves in gear, the less we reveal of who we are. Faces vanish behind glass. Voices distort through filters. Identity becomes externalized, stitched into fabric, projected in lights. Over time, will we forget the intimacy of enshielded skin?
It is beautiful,
The warmth of unfiltered
but our needs
breath.
are greater.
Perhaps the very act of fashion will evolve into a search for visibility, for ways to announce, I am here. I am more than this suit. Still, fashion carries hope. Imagine a festival where colonists from many worlds gather, each wearing their finest survival gear. Suits glowing, cloaks shimmering, visors reflecting alien skies. The whole becomes a kaleidoscope of adaptation. Survival turned into art. In that moment, fashion is no longer vanity. It is unity, proof that even in the void, we are still human creative, restless, yearning to transform necessity into meaning. So the void does not silence fashion. It amplifies it. The suit is no longer only shield. It is canvas. And through it, humanity will keep writing stories across the stars. The illusion of safety. Picture the quiet ritual of removing a helmet inside the dome. The hiss of pressure equalizing. The faint release of recycled air. The sudden sensation of skin meeting the raw interior atmosphere. For a moment, it feels like freedom. Yet beneath that breath lurks a question. Is this safety real or only borrowed? Protective gear promises survival, but it also hides a deeper truth. That humans were never meant to be here. And every layer of fabric, every filtered lump, is an illusion stretched thin over the void. History reminds us that humans have always wrapped themselves in illusions of safety. Castles with towering walls eventually crumbled to cannons. Plague doctors wore beaked masks, convinced they could hold death at bay. Soldiers marched under steel helmets.
All clear on this section?
Yet still
Excellent.
fell to
Let's
shovel
proceed
and
to the
fire.
next phase.
Protective gear works until it doesn't. On alien worlds,
All good
the
here.
margin between life and death
Confirming
shrinks
readouts.
even further. A torn seam is disaster. A cracked visor, extinction. The illusion of safety may itself become part of the culture. Comfort in ritual, even when survival rests on fragile engineering. Now imagine the psychology of this illusion. Colonists may feel most alive when suited up, each hiss of oxygen reassuring, each clamp locked. But what happens when trust in gear erodes? A faulty seal could spark paranoia across an entire settlement. Whispers might spread. Was the fabric weakened? Were the filters sabotaged? Fear of failure could fracture trust not only in machines, but in one another. The suit becomes not just protection,
The filters are
but
failing.
potential betrayal. And yet, the illusion may be necessary.
We must
Without
consider
it,
the long-term
despair
impact
could
on our
overwhelm.
remaining resources.
To wake each day knowing your world itself is trying to kill you would be unbearable. The suit softens the truth, wrapping not just your body, but your mind. Like armor in battle, or faith in gods, it gives shape to courage. Colonists may decorate their suits not only for beauty, but for reassurance symbols stitched into seals, talismans painted on helmets. Perhaps belief itself becomes a layer of survival. But illusions are fragile. What happens when colonists grow accustomed? When protective gear no longer feels sacred but ordinary? Complacency could be as dangerous as paranoia. A skip seal check, a rushed repair, a culture where survival rituals turn lax. And when disaster comes, as it always does, the illusion shatters. Out of the wreckage rises a new myth, stories of the ones who trusted too much. These myths may harden into laws, each failure becoming a pebble carved into survival traits. Still, illusions can also evolve into truths. Over generations, colonists may integrate gear so deeply into their identity that it ceases to feel external. Suits might become lighter, sleeker, fused with skin through biotech. Helmets could merge with vision itself,
a few of those seals,
projecting skies as familiar as Earth's blue. The line between illusion and reality blurs. Colonists might even forget that they are protected at all. Their technology so intimated feels like nature. The illusion becomes reality by persistence. So is protective gear truly necessary? Perhaps not. In some distant genetic future where humans breathe methane or resist radiation. But for now, it is both shield and mirror. It reveals our fragility even as it disguises it. The illusion of safety may never be perfect, but perhaps perfection is not the point. Perhaps survival itself is the ritual, the meaning, the art. And in that fragile balance between danger and illusion, humanity will continue to step outward, suit by suit, into the endless stock.
Greetings, esteemed traveler. This seal is of ancient Martian origin.
I seek something truly unique, something with power.